loving, and we agreed before this that Joe, you would do the plot.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. See, this is the thing, Ryan usually does the plots.
Yeah.
I'm okay, just basically new Jeff Nichols film. Did he do this like way before Midnight Special, or
I don't know, because
I've seen it like way before that came out.
It's been around for a while. It played it. Was it Cannes or Sunday?
I think it played at Cannes.
I think it was Cannes.
I'm sure I saw it.
It's been around for quite a while.
Yeah, obviously it's just came out here now.
And you're a big Jeff Nichols fan.
I'm a big Jeff Nichols fan, and I've pretty much liked every film he's done. Didn't like Midnight Special that much, but seeing this now, he's definitely back in my good books because I really enjoyed this. The film stars Joel Edgerton and Ruth. Is it
Negga?
Negga. Right, that's it. Negga. And he plays Richard Loven, and she plays Mildred Loven as they get married in the state of Virginia. But being an interracial couple at the time, it was considered illegal. And there's the scenes where she gets put in prison and he does as well, and he gets let out early, but she still has to stay in prison. And then basically, I think the court rules that they have to leave Virginia for 25 years, and it's a big kind of travesty in the community and stuff like that. And it's a case that kind of goes all the way to the Supreme Court to get interracial couples to be allowed to marry in that state.
And not many cases go that far.
No, they do not.
No.
As the lawyer says in the film.
Is it 1 in 400 or something to say? Like
something
one in 400
that,
gets seen by the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
So, where do you begin? So, we'll start by you're a big fan of it.
I'm a huge fan of it, yeah.
Steph, you saw it as well?
I did.
And I obviously saw it, otherwise what would be the point? So, it's a story that involves a court case. Many films do. Not a lot of them, but, many do. And you'd think that a lot of those films kind of took the path of being very much about the court case and being very much about the sort of issues that unfold, the fact that it's an interracial couple, the fight for justice. This film doesn't necessarily do that.
No, not really. No. I mean, it's there, but it's not the main focus. It's
not the foreground. It's just very much in there. It's still a strong part of it, but the strength of the film is that it presents Mildred and Richard as the primary focus of the film. Like it helps that their surname is Lovin. You'd think, oh, maybe it's like a film about loving. No, their name is literally Lovin, but they also love each other, which is quite helpful. So the film presents Edgerton and Negga as this couple who are very low key. They're just they never argue, they never row, they have their differences, but that's kind of not the most important part. They are committed to fighting the cause, but they kind of at the same time still just love each other.
Yeah.
They love each other.
They're a loving couple.
It's just so fortunate. I mean, like, he must have found this story and gone like, oh, let's go. I like that. They really love each other. What are they called? Oh, Loving. Oh, it's perfect. That's the title there, isn't it? It's ideal. So Steph, from what I gather, not as big a fan.
I mean, I was really excited to watch this film because I read about the case beforehand, and it was really interesting to see it from a different viewpoint as someone from this year looking at something that's like taken from so long ago. And I'm a huge fan of Joel Edgerton, and I'm a huge fan of Ruth Negga as well. She my favourite character of her is always in Misfits as well. I absolutely love her in that. So when watching it, I kind of expecting this whole because when I'm watching films about social activism and such like that, you always see these major scenes of protesting and them just saying that they have a complete epiphany that they have to do this and stuff like that, and I didn't see that in Loving at all. It was kind of a different take on it.
I think maybe you expected the wrong thing then. I think maybe that's what you kind of expect from the film. Maybe it's what you hope for the film. I think we've seen that a lot, and I think I like that this doesn't do that. I like that it avoids cliches, and it's just it's all about the loving.
Yeah, it's literally all about the loving. I mean, it's all built on its performances, really.
Yeah.
And Jeff Nichols is surprising restraint with the camera work and everything. But yeah, it is kind of told through just kind of no you expect normal storytelling elements with this type of film, but they just don't happen. I mean, it's all done through the eyes and kind of sitting around, and even the scenes specifically, for example, the scene in the bar after he gets drunk and he comes home, you expect maybe a big blowout or a big fight or anything like that, but it just doesn't happen. It's just they're just a normal loving couple.
Should we score here?
We should definitely tell you this.
I like the visuals of the film particularly. We've seen before that Nichols, I mean, he's known for things like mud and take shit, that kind of dusty kind of look. This has that, being in that sort of area where, it's quite deserted countryside, rural area, but it still has those, and I've got here, sumptuous and rich, rewarding colours. It's all a sort of autumnal colorscape. which is really nice. It just has that sort of glow to it as well.
Yeah.
It all looks really nice, and the drama itself is rich and sumptuous. I felt very invested. I felt very close to these characters. I had just kind of met. The film drops you in. I think the first line is "I'm pregnant."
Yeah, right there.
So
Right
there's no. I mean, you see that being a problem, don't you, Steph? Like, it just sort of drops in.
I mean, it just drops in like that going, I'm pregnant. I actually wanted to see how they met and how Mildred, who's played by Ruth Negga, overcame that stigma of saying, I'm dating a white man, and for her family to accept it. I wanted to see that. That's what I was looking for. That just didn't happen. It just dropped in going, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. It's like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, okay. I do get your point. Like the cinematography is absolutely just stunning. Like
ravishing.
The color scheme. I literally was just like, I wanted to be there to see it, and I do love the relationship between them. I just didn't feel like I didn't get like. I wanted to see more speech than just following like their movements and such. I mean, that's my take. I don't know about you guys, and I just feel like I do understand why Ruth got her Oscar nomination.
Yeah, I was going to get to this. It's all the sort of subtleties in her face. It's the nuances and the little tiny things.
I mean, the only times Nichols kind of does like a little push in, I think he does like twice in the film. Obviously, sitting near the end on the phone and stuff like that, and when just kind of looking at Richard and just little scenes like that. And it is just kind of obviously not built on speeches, but like mainly the performance really, and the body language and the facial expressions and the way they look at each other and all that type of stuff.
She's got a wonderful smile. She's got a really nice warm smile. And I think when they have those scenes of when there were the lawyers, Nick Kroll plays the lawyer. That's so weird, isn't it? Like,
so weird.
Nick Kroll's is like typically known for very comedic, very over the top stuff. To be this kind of straight up lawyer in this is peculiar. I kind of couldn't see past him as like all the characters he does, but he's good. But those kind of scenes aren't about the sort of fight, and if they are, it's always just the two of them just kind of thinking, well, just get it over with, man. They don't see it as a big issue. They just sort of think it as a normal thing, like, because it is, like, as time has proven, this kind of thing in interracial marriage isn't a problem, and I think the film sometimes exaggerates, or what we would consider an exaggeration of the sort of cartoonish characters who are in there, who are like, well, that can't happen, that's immoral, that's legal. But at the time, I guess that's how it was.
No, yeah, that was.
It's only now that we know, and now that we are completely accepting stuff, and because it's not a big deal, but. You know, only now can we see that is such a strange thing for them to do, and why it wasn't acceptable, but I suppose it's too late to go through that now. Yeah. Funnily enough, I saw this and Hidden Figures back to back, which isn't out for a few weeks yet, because I saw it early. And they're both set in Virginia, and they're both set at the same time period, but very different stories, very different tone as well. It's just interesting that these kind of films are becoming more, you know, there's more of them, and they're more relevant, they're more powerful. I think they're both of them. We'll get to that in a few weeks' time, but they're both as strong as each other for what they achieve. And I've got to give props for the score as well from David Wingo, which is wonderful. So, Lovin', did you love it?
Yeah.
Steph, did you love it?
I wouldn't say I loved it. I liked it. I like the fact that Ruth Negga's character was more the prominent. Yeah. Like more like instrumental within the act and the social and the legislation and stuff like that. I do see why Joel Edgerton's character was more reserved and such like that, which was juxtaposition to what his normal characters is, and that was such like a massive like change. I was like, I don't know if I like this or not. This is quite weird, but I'll just ride with it. I would suggest you guys watch this in cinema, because I do feel like if you're watching it in front of your TV, it's not, the cinematography is not like,
it wouldn't do it justice.
It wouldn't do justice. I say you have to watch it in the cinema to actually just see it and stuff like that. But I like it. I will watch it again. But I don't know if like I would just want more dialogue in it. That's just my thing. I prefer more dialogue than movement, but that's just me. I'm more used to watching like films with like action and stuff like that, and body language is an afterthought, but I think the director took a lot of time to make it work, so props to him.
So all very different opinions, but I think it is worth seeing. We're kind of all agree.